We're exploring monuments around San Francisco to see whose stories they tell, whose stories they don't tell, and what does that say about us.
Look how big this thing is.
This is a monument to President William McKinley, a guy no one knows about, no one cares about, and he only went to California one time in his entire life. So what's the deal? The monument was created in 1904, 3 years after McKinley was shockingly assassinated. The artist, Robert Aitken, wanted to create a monument that showed what he called the mental and spiritual qualities of William McKinley rather than a likeness of the man himself. At the top of the monument is a woman representing sort of a spiritual figure that shows these mental and spiritual qualities. The model for this figure was a woman named Alma de Bretteville, who was descended from exiled French nobility, but she was born in the Sunset District. Now, I'm from the Sunset. If you're French nobility, you're out in the Sunset, something went wrong. But she was able to kind of climb her way back up into wealthy, elite San Francisco Victorian society. She started doing modeling, nude modeling for artwork from age 14. Little weird. When she was modeling for this monument, she was 25 years old. The next year, she would go on to marry a man named Spreckles. He was extremely wealthy because he had a massive business empire making sugar. And because he was much older than her, she called him my sugar daddy, which is where we get the term sugar daddy. McKinley ran for president in 1896. His opponent for that election was a guy named William Jennings Bryan. McKinley represented big banks, financial elites, business. William Jennings Bryan represented the common man. He was a kind of populist figure. Of course, he did ignore issues of segregation. A main issue in the election was the issue of if the U.S. should make gold coins or silver coins. And this was a huge issue that divided the country, something like abortion or gun control might be today. Gold coins were considered better for business and banks, and silver coins were considered better for common, usual people. I don't know why. It's some kind of economic reason I don't really understand. William McKinley favored the gold coins. Jennings Bryan favored the silver coins. So McKinley wins the election. Halfway through his presidency, U.S. goes to war with Spain. One of the parts of this war was the U.S. taking over the Philippine Islands. Now, the Filipino people thought, we're sick of this colonial power ruling us. America also rebelled against a colonial power. That's how it was formed. They're going to come. We're going to have freedom. We're going to have democracy. U.S. under William McKinley said, psych, you are not going to get democracy. You're going to be a colony of the United States. A lot of Filipino people were displeased about this, and it ended up being a brutal jungle guerrilla war from Filipino freedom fighters against U.S. soldiers that went on for many years. The brutality of the war actually caused severe famines and disease to break out. Estimates are that between 200,000 to a million Filipino civilians died from this war. While this war was going on, William McKinley was shockingly shot and killed by a man named Leon Sigowitz. I can't say his last name, it's Polish, who claimed to be an anarchist. Although other people in the anarchist community at the time thought he was a weirdo, he would show up to meetings and just creep people out. They thought he was there's actually a pamphlet that says, watch out for this guy, he's a spy. A lot of debate, was this guy really an anarchist? Was he an agent provocateur? Was he just crazy? We don't know. After McKinley was assassinated, the war against the Filipino people would go on, and they would eventually lose. The Philippines would be an American imperial colony until the end of World War II. At the same time, the U.S. was passing more and more restrictive laws against immigration from places like China and Japan and other Asian countries. But these didn't apply to Filipinos because technically they were American nationals as part of an American colony. This meant that many Filipino people immigrated to California to work as agricultural workers and brought all kinds of amazing contributions to our state. Today, Tagalog is the third most spoken language in California, other than English and Spanish. And Filipino people have made all kinds of incredible contributions to our state and its history. I particularly admire the haunting and beautiful writing of Carlos Bulosan and the fearless advocacy of Larry Itliong. Considering all the contributions Filipino people have made to our state and its culture and its history, why are there no monuments of this scale to a Filipino person or a Filipino American? Why do we have a monument to a man that stopped in California once in his entire life as one of the most prominent monuments in our city? These are the questions we think about when we explore whose stories are these monuments telling? Whose stories are they not telling? Thank you for watching.